We are programmed by millions of years of evolution to understand the boundaries of our world. The water belongs to the fish, the land belongs to us. It is a fundamental law of nature, a silent contract that ensures our safety. When we walk through a park or sit by a stream, we assume the creatures within the water are trapped by their own biology. But what happens when that contract is torn up? Picture a gray, overcast afternoon in a public space, perhaps Central Park, perhaps your own backyard. The air is damp. You see a shape moving through the tall grass. It isn't a dog, a rat, or a snake. It is a fish. It isn't gasping for life. It isn't struggling. It is slithering with a predatory purpose. Its eyes fixed on a target, its gills pulling oxygen from the air as easily as you do. This isn't a dream. This is a biological anomaly that has already breached our borders. This is the northern snakehead Channa argus. To the media, it is the Frankenfish, a name that implies a monster of fiction. To the scientific community, it is something much worse. It is a perfect biological weapon, an invasive predator that has learned to bypass the very limits of its species. The northern snakehead is the vanguard of a silent invasion. It represents the collapse of ecological boundaries and the terrifying reality of what happens when an alien biology finds a way to conquer a world that has no defense against it. To understand why the snakehead is a threat to our existence, we must look at the upgrades evolution has granted this creature, traits that seem more suited to a laboratory than a riverbed. The first, and most terrifying, is the labyrinth organ. Most fish are slaves to the dissolved oxygen in the water. If a pond dries up or becomes stagnant and toxic, the fish die. The snakehead does not. It possesses a vascularized suprabranchial chamber, a primitive yet highly efficient lung. This allows the creature to breathe atmospheric air. It can survive out of water for up to 4 days. It can survive in mud that would suffocate any native species. It can survive in the wake of chemical spills. It is, for all intents and purposes, unkillable by the standard metrics of nature. Then, there is its locomotion. The snakehead does not merely walk, it migrates. By using its powerful pectoral fins and a rhythmic, serpentine muscular contraction, it can cross miles of land to reach new bodies of water. This means that fences, dams, and land gaps are meaningless. If it exhausts the food supply in one lake, it simply climbs out and finds another. It is a shark with the mobility of a lizard. Physically, the Channa argus is built for total war. Its skull is flattened, protected by heavy bone plates that can withstand significant impact. Its mouth is a cavern of needle-like teeth, backed by a powerful jaw designed to snap the spines of its prey. It is an apex predator that has been dropped into ecosystems that have never seen its like. Native fish see the snakehead not as a rival, but as an unstoppable force of nature. The history of the snakehead in North America is a chronicle of human failure. In a small pond in Crofton, Maryland, the first major infestation was discovered. The reaction was one of pure, unadulterated panic. Authorities poisoned the entire pond, hoping to wipe out the invaders. They found the bodies of adults and thousands of juveniles. They thought they had won. They were wrong. By the time the poison hit the water, the snakeheads had already begun their migration. They had moved into the river systems. From there, they entered the major watersheds. Today, they are found across the continent, from the Hudson River to the Great Lakes. The lesson is one of psychological horror. Once an alien species of this caliber is introduced, containment is an illusion. We are no longer in control of our waterways. We are merely observers of their takeover. The snakehead doesn't just eat, it replaces, it outcompetes native bass, salmon, and trout. It reproduces at a staggering rate. A single female can lay up to 100,000 eggs a year. Unlike most fish, which abandon their young, snakeheads are fiercely protective parents. They guard their fry with a level of aggression that borders on the sentient. They will attack anything that nears their nest, including humans. The snakehead is only a symptom of a much larger, darker phenomenon. Biological pollution. We often fear chemical leaks or nuclear radiation, but those threats have a half-life. They eventually dissipate. A biological invader is different. It is a self-replicating pollutant. It grows, it adapts, and it becomes a permanent part of the environment. There is a psychological weight to this. We think of our homes as above the dangers of the deep. But when the deep can crawl into your garden, when it can thrive in the storm drains beneath your street, the sense of safety vanishes. We are witnessing the uncanny valley of biology, a creature that looks like a fish but acts like a terrestrial hunter. What happens when an invasive species like the snakehead encounters the runoff of our genetic experiments? We already see the effects of hormones and pharmaceuticals in our rivers. Male fish are developing eggs. Species are mutating in ways that defy traditional Darwinian timings. Is it truly madness to suggest that a creature capable of breathing air and walking on land could eventually adapt to even more extreme environments? If these creatures continue to tunnel into subterranean aquifers, reaching the deep biosphere where heat and pressure are the only constants, they may evolve beyond our recognition. When a predator as efficient as the snakehead enters a balanced ecosystem, it creates a trophic cascade. First, it consumes the smaller fish. Then, the birds that rely on those fish begin to starve. The insects that the fish use to control begin to swarm, bringing diseases. The plants that the insects eat begin to die. The river doesn't just change, it shuts down. This is the psychological gallows of ecology. We are trading the vibrant complexity of millions of years of evolution for a world of slithering uniformity, a monoculture of predators. Because the snakehead can survive on land, this desertification doesn't stay in the water. It creeps onto the banks. It moves through the marshes. It changes the very sound of the forest. The northern snakehead didn't arrive by accident. It was brought for food markets and the exotic pet trade. It was released by people who thought they were being kind, or by those who wanted to establish new fishing spots. Our desire for the exotic, our need to own and control nature, has become the vehicle for our own undoing. Every time a person flushes an aquarium fish or releases a pet into the wild, they are potentially pulling the pin on a biological grenade. We are the ones who opened the door. The snakehead is merely doing what it was designed to do: survive and conquer. If you encounter one of these anomalies, you must understand what you are looking at. Long, slender, with a head that resembles a python, wide mouth, visible teeth, and a dorsal fin running the length of its back. If you see a fish that does you and flee. If you see one watching you from the shallows or moving through the grass, you are looking at a breach in the natural order. Do not return it to the water. Kill it, freeze it, report it. We are the last line of containment. The story of the northern snakehead is a warning. It is a glimpse into a future where the boundaries of our world are increasingly porous. We like to think we are at the top of the food chain, that our technology makes us immune to the forces of nature. But a fish that walks and breathes air proves that nature is far more creative and far more ruthless than we give it credit for. The Frankenfish is not a joke. It is a highly evolved predator that has successfully invaded one of the most advanced nations on Earth. It has bypassed our borders, survived our poisons, and established a colony that is now beyond our control. As we continue to warm the planet and pollute our waterways, we are terraforming Earth for the invaders. The ground beneath your feet is no longer a shield. The water at the edge of your town is no longer a cage. The contract is broken. Beneath the surface, something is waiting. And soon it may not stay beneath the surface for long. The invasion has already begun. If you have found this investigation unsettling, it is because you are finally seeing the world for what it truly is: a fragile system under constant biological assault. The northern snakehead is just one of many anomalies we are tracking. From genetic drifting to subterranean extremophiles, the truth is far more terrifying than the myths we tell ourselves to stay asleep. If you are ready to look into the abyss, stay with us. Subscribe to Discovered. Hit the notification bell. Do not miss our next report, where we will unearth more truths that have been hidden in the shadows of science. In a world of comfortable delusions, we provide the cold clinical evidence of reality. Remember, the floor is thinner than you think, and the end is slithering toward you. See you in the next investigation.